broadcasting live from our studio in Appleton, Wisconsin. You're tuned in to Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. We're the show that gives you an opportunity to call in and be a part of the show. Our call-in line is 920-358-0795. Core. Ephraim Wood is a singer-songwriter from Appleton, Wisconsin. His work is influenced by artists like Elliott and Jeff Buckley. He's got a new single coming out on June 5th titled Million Days. I'd like to welcome Ephraim Wood to Fox Cities Core on WCZR Code Zero Radio. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks.
This is great to finally get you on the show. I met you, earlier in the year, right?
Yeah.
You've got a single coming out on Friday, but you've been around for a little while already.
A little bit, yeah. But, yeah, I got a single coming out on Friday, Million Days. I'm really proud of this one. I kind of did everything by myself for the most part. But, yeah, it's just really cool.
So, talking a little bit before the show, it sounds like you're very peculiar before you release something into the wild. You do have stuff out there. And before we go any further, let's talk a little bit about the name change. You've recently rebranded. What caused the whole rebranding?
I did. The main thing was, so before it was Ephraim McGilvery, and McGilvery's my middle name. But people already have trouble with my first name, and then throwing in a big last name like that, I guess, was a little difficult for people.
So anyway, when I was looking at it, I wanted to say Ephraim, but Ephraim.
Yeah. Ephraim's a big one because of Door County, but...
Did you have people that were having trouble finding you online or even pronouncing it as far as searching for you online because of the spelling?
Yeah, it was a bit of a problem. And even if you would ask Siri, you'd have to pronounce my name so oddly. It was Ephraim McGillivray, and then that's the only way it would find me, or type in too.
So the first thing you released, and correct me if I'm wrong, was To Lose You, a single in 2022.
That is true, yeah. Wow.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because that's not available everywhere.
No, that one I recorded, it was just split of the moment. I recorded it on my phone through some app that allowed you to record. I think it was, I don't remember what it was called, but I recorded the guitar, and then I went to my car and drove to some random parking lot and recorded all the vocals with my gaming headset as a microphone, and then released that one. And then I did take that one down because at some point I'd like to put out a better quality version of that song. It's a really nice song, in my opinion. I was really proud of it. But
so you come from a musical family. Your father played in a lot of bands and still does. Your mom is an artist. How did that shape you growing up in a family full of artists?
It was pretty artistic, yeah. I don't know. My dad was always playing shows with his Irish band. I don't really remember too much of Co-Pilots. I think I was pretty young at that point.
Do you remember going to any of the shows?
I don't think I was going to that for that, but for Seamus, I was always at the shows, buddies with the bandmates, and just kind of grew up around that. It was really awesome. And then
was that a scene you liked hanging around?
Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was really fun. And then me and my mom, she taught me piano, and she's also really gifted musically. But yeah, I guess it kind of shaped me into kind of pursuing music or arts in general.
Was there any pressure that you felt you had to get into music because your parents were into it?
Not really, to be honest. They kind of just wanted us to do whatever we wanted, and so far all of my siblings have kind of just fallen into the arts. My sister's a fashion designer, and then my younger brother wants to get into movies, and my youngest brother is really into art. And so I think we all just kind of they never really pressured us to do anything, and we just kind of found our own way doing arts.
So what was the first instrument you remember playing? Was it the piano when your mom was teaching you?
Yeah. Piano was the first instrument. She kind of taught me a little bit through the books, but I think I learned most of it in like 6th grade when I tried out for percussion, because you had to learn the glockenspiel. And so I kind of learned piano off that for the most part. And then I learned guitar in high school sitting in my dad's closet, and I like snagged one of his guitars, and I just kind of sat in the closet and taught myself how to play. But
Did your dad ever sit down with you and try to show you anything?
yeah, he did. He showed me like scales, blues scales, and like he taught me how to play "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles. He'd like teach me whatever he was learning, I suppose. But yeah.
So as far as your style of music, you're into Elliott Smith, Jeff Buckley, really composed singer-songwriter type things. Now your dad, I know his style is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Any like chance that you guys would collaborate in the future on anything, or have you done that already?
We have actually. He played bass on a lot of the songs on the album. And then the album that came out like a couple years ago.
That was called Loving You Cold.
Yep.
Which came out January of 2024.
Yep. Yeah, he played bass on a lot of those songs. And Steve did drums for all of it.
Of course, Steve McCabe, who you worked with on the latest single as well.
Yep.
And you must have liked Steve's workflow to go back and work on this new single with him. How was the single different from when you did that full album with him?
Well, Steve's an amazing drummer. Like, I really love his drumming style, and he's really versatile. With this song, I got my own recording gear, and I was kind of working on this song in my apartment, and I needed drums on it, and I know Steve can record, and he's a great drummer, so I kind of sent the song to him to see if he'd be willing to do it, and he was down. We kind of like talked to him about how I wanted the drums, and he delivered exactly what I asked him to do for me.
So he told me that you sent him Jeff Buckley's Forget Her and said that's how you wanted
I did
the drums to sound. So you've got definitely things that inspire you.
Yeah.
And would you consider Jeff Buckley to be one of the biggest influences you have as far as your musical stylings? Or is there some obscure artists?
I would say Buckley is a big as of recently, my girlfriend kind of introduced me to him like maybe a year and a half ago, and I just fell in love with his music and kind of wanted to replicate like bits and pieces of it. But I'd say Elliott Smith, Radiohead, Mumford & Sons, Shaky Graves, like Head and Heart, like it's a lot of names, but I feel like whenever I am writing something, I'll like take a second every now and then. I'll be like, oh wait, this sounds exactly like this. But yeah, I kind of grew up on those and have always kind of just wanted to create music like that.
You and Steve seem like a good combination of partners to record music, because Steve, in what he told me about recording the single, was that he used all these microphones, and he's very meticulous about the sounds that he's getting, much like yourself.
Yeah.
And what he said about going back and forth and tweaking the drums and sending them to you, he sounds like he is a guy that meticulously listens for what he wants. But in this case, it sounds like he was very aware of what you wanted and wanted to get it as close as he could to your specifications.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he did an amazing job. Like,
I also understand you did most of it yourself and sent him the stems, and he mixed it at Big Garage Studios.
Yeah. I sent him, I think at the time I just had the guitar and the vocals tracked down, and then I sent it to him, and he laid out the drums. He mixed the drums for me, and then sent them back, and then I kind of added the rest onto it. But honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do it without him.
Do you prefer to work that way, like not being in a studio for the whole thing?
I do like being in the studio. There's some weird creative thing that happens when you're in the studio that is, I don't even know how to explain it. But I also do like being able to work alone, just like in my own little space that I feel comfortable in. And I don't know. I like both of them, probably just as much as I like the other.
So in 2023, you released a single called Burning Ship. Was that another track that you self-produced, or was that done at a studio?
No, that was with Steve. That was actually supposed to be a part of the album.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I had put it out as I don't remember why, but I had put it out as a single before the album. I think trying to gain a little bit of traction for the album.
It's interesting that you didn't, decide to include it on the album as another song to kind of fill out the amount of tracks on the album.
Yeah. It fit the album pretty well, I thought. But I still don't. I wouldn't be able to tell you. It was probably just like a spur of the moment decision that I had made.
So when you released that full length album, did you do a release show or a show to commemorate the release of the album?
I don't think so. I don't think I had done that, but
because songwriting and playing are two different beasts. Can you walk me through the first show you played, where it was, and the thoughts that were going through your head?
The first show that I played was at Gibson with Billy Bronsted.
It's a pretty big first show.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was super nervous. I was like shaking. And then like I was in the back room playing my guitar, and then Billy came up to me and kind of like encouraged me and like helped me out, like getting me the courage I needed to go onto the stage and play. And then even then at the very end of my show, he like came up and played guitar with me for the last song of the set. And it was an awesome first show.
I'm sure you practiced a lot for that, and you can practice a ton, and when you get up there, everything seems different. Did it feel like you were a little bit out of your body when you got up there? Was it what you were expecting for what you prepared for?
Honestly, I was kind of preparing by not thinking about it until I got there. I didn't even have a set list prepared till I got there. And then, I don't know, my brain kind of shut off, but like I was still there, Like I remember I loved it. Like after that show, I was like, I want to do this. Even though I haven't played many shows since, but I still love performing.
So when you decided to rebrand and go with Ephraim Wood, how do you tackle the old material you already released? How do you acknowledge that when you're putting together your catalog? Is that going to be something that's just separate from what you're performing now? Or are you doing a fresh start, or are you going to incorporate all that old stuff?
I haven't really thought about it too much. I would like to redo them, or like just touch them up a bit. I had asked Steve a little bit if he still had the recordings, which I'm not sure that he does. I don't blame him, because he records so many people, he needs the space. But
I've seen his hard drives. He probably still has it.
maybe. But either way, I'd still love to re-record everything and just get like a more, because when I went in there, I had no idea what I was doing, and it was kind of just.
So what specifically aren't you happy with? Is it the singing or the guitar playing, a little of everything?
It's the singing. And then also for a good chunk of those, I don't think we recorded them to a click track, because I hadn't ever recorded. I couldn't do it. But I just would like to go back in there and kind of redo the vocals for sure, and just kind of everything. I've grown a lot as a musician since then, and I kind of just want I really like those songs, and I want them to have like a better build around them, instrumentally. Like I wouldn't have like any of the electric guitar parts or bass parts when I would go in, and I'd make them up on the spot. And then, but yeah, it was just kind of not prepared, if that makes sense.
So for the album, were you doing the whole thing at Steve's studio, or did you send him stems like you did for the single?
I did the whole thing at his studio. I didn't start trying to record my own music till recently, just because I feel like that'd be a good skill to have, because I don't have a lot of money. So if you kind of learn how to do it yourself, you can kind of just figure it out eventually.
You did a single, you went into Rock Garden just to kind of test out and play around with the song, and you did that with Marc Golde. I think Ian Gilmore was pushing for that.
Yeah.
And he said to me that you were a really efficient worker. He was impressed with your, so I don't mess this up. He said you were a remarkably mature songwriter, and said that your parents had shared some stuff with him when you were starting to write songs, and he was amazed that someone so young could write songs like that. And he said that he was impressed with how quickly you got stuff done and how quickly you worked in the studio.
Yeah. But I suppose, that's not wrong. No, he did push for me to go record with Golde, and that was awesome. Golde was an amazing.
So you've worked on 2 impressive mixing desks already.
Yeah. Golde he got stuff done really fast, and he was using all this gear that I hadn't really seen before. I still don't know what any of it does, but he did a great job. I wish he didn't retire, but I could understand it, because I was gonna try and go back and like record a few songs with him too, just to do it.
And you said you had artists. Your younger brother is into film. Has he approached you about possibly directing a music video?
Yeah, he has already. With the song coming out, he was like giving me ideas on on what we should do, and
that's great. So you've got people in house that can. I mean, it really makes it more personable. You probably have no problem telling your younger brother exactly what you want.
Yeah, I can bully him about it a little bit. But
no. I love the new song, and I think your whole catalog, it does fit together nicely. The older songs too. I don't hear any problems in them, but I noticed there's lots of double-tracked vocals on some of the older stuff, and I don't hear that as much on the latest single. So I don't know if that's a new direction.
Not entirely. I kind of just forgot to put one on there, because I do like the sound of it. But yeah, I kind of, like I said, this was like my first time recording a song, so then I definitely missed a few things, and I probably should have, like, other instruments could have been added in there, more vocals, but yeah.
And you played Mile of Music last year.
I did.
How was that experience?
That was awesome. I love Mile of Music. It's really cool for all these independent artists to just be walking the street with people that are going to listen to them. Like, you could be walking down the street after, for example, listening to a Sam Ness concert, and then you see Sam, and you could walk up to him and have a conversation with him. I don't know. I just thought it was awesome, and everybody's so supportive there.
You did the bus too.
I did do the bus, yeah. The bus was fun. I was a little disappointed because it wasn't driving around last year. It was driving around the years before, so I was like, yeah, I want to do the bus. But
yeah, it's still kind of cool, but it doesn't have the same the danger it had before.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you heard stories about people falling, while they're playing, or trying to catch their balance.
Yeah.
I think that was like one of the things people kind of like to watch for when they were on the bus watching performances.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good set on the bus, though.
Yeah, I had a pretty great set on the bus. Each set was awesome.
Do you remember some of the other places you played? Which venues did you do?
I did Copper Rock, and I did Brauhaus, is it?
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So did you sell a lot of merchandise? Did you have things to sell at that point?
I haven't had any merchandise yet. I want to at some point, but...
So everything you've done until now has been even up to this point, is digital release.
Yeah, pretty much. I would like to get CDs or some vinyls and stuff, but I don't know. It's a big investment, and I guess I'm just a little scared if I make a big investment like that and I can't sell them all.
You do see some artists still doing like Kickstarter things. Have you ever thought of crowdfunding?
I have not. No. I didn't. Like, is that kind of like you open your suitcase and people throw money in for you?
Yeah, there's some sites that you can, like Kickstarter, where you try to, you offer rewards like $50 for a album when it's complete, or $100 for an album and a T-shirt, and then you try to reach a certain level to help fund the project.
Okay. Yeah. No, I didn't really know that was a thing, but that would be a pretty good idea, honestly.
Do you collect vinyl or CDs or any of that media?
My girlfriend does. I don't too much. I would like to. It's just I don't have a lot of space at the moment. Like, at some point, I'd love to have a big collection of vinyl, just to have it and to play music when I'm cleaning or something.
I know that for Mile, you worked with Melissa Freeman for a while. So what did you learn about the business from Melissa?
Oh, it's chaotic. She is running around all the time. She does everything. She's awesome. Yeah, I've learned quite a bit. Like, before, I didn't know that stage plots were a thing that you had to send in whenever you'd go to, like, a venue or something. And she's kind of taught me a lot about just doing everything. Like, we were doing artist transport last year. I had done something with, like, getting the hotel rooms ready for the artists or something. Like, there's just a lot in it, and she does a lot. All of them do. They all work their butts off.
I think it's probably a pretty cool thing to see all the behind the scenes of what goes into the festival. It's not just a schedule being made and then the bands show up and they just play the show.
Yeah, no, it's a big. They've been setting up for months now. And every year they set up for months, and it is like a very chaotic thing. Like, towards the week leading up to Mile of Music, if you walk into that office, everybody's running around doing everything. It's really cool to see, like, people that care that much about bringing music to Appleton.
Was there anybody last year at the festival that was a standout to you?
Like, artist-wise?
As far as somebody that you were not expecting to really even see, but you just saw them and got blown away by their music.
Last year, I didn't really get to go see a lot of music, but I did really like Tommy Prine stuff, and I got to meet. He's just a really awesome guy, and his music's really heartfelt, and I don't know, he's a cool guy.
That's cool. And then, of course, this year, you're not sure if you're going to be playing yet, but the festival is July 31st. It's a little earlier this year compared to previous years. Do you have a favorite venue in Appleton that you haven't played yet that you hope to play in the future?
Oh, yeah. I would love to play on the, what's that bar? I'm going to take some guesses. The Bent Keg? Chadwick's? No. It's an outdoor venue.
Emmett's?
No. No, that'd be a big stage. But no, it's built into the bar almost. It's kind of over.
Oh, Game Day.
No. It starts with a G, I think, though, like Guinness something, or McFleshman's. Yes. That's what it is. I would love to play on that stage.
There's a lot of cool venues in Appleton, and you'd have to think that a lot of those venues are created to accommodate Mile Music.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably so. I think, like, for example, the bar, they don't really have a stage, but, like, you'll set up in a corner and you'll play. But I do like that they get, like, as many of these businesses in there as they can, and it's just a whole strip of music 24/7.
Ephraim, what does Million Days, what is that song about?
That song is about my girlfriend. I don't really remember writing it. It's kind of one of those songs where you sit down and you start, like, playing the guitar and then just start singing along to it. And then I guess the song kind of comes to you a little bit, per se. But yeah, it's kind of just about a little bit of a tribute to her. She's, like, been a really great part of my life, and I want to show her that I love her through a song, if that makes sense.
Did she? What was her reaction when she heard it for the first time? Was it after you recorded it or before?
It was before. I had played it for her on my guitar, and she cried a little bit, but yeah, she liked the song. She really liked it.
Is she an artist as well?
She is actually a really amazing cellist, but she's going to school for surgical tech, and she's going to go into that part of the hospital and just try and make a difference.
Any chance you might work with her in the future?
I really want to. I really want to. There's been so many times I'll ask her, and yeah, but she gets a little shy.
So Million Days, to me, it almost sounds like the song could have went on even a little bit longer.
Yeah, I was on the fence about extending that chorus at the end, like, a couple more times.
It was a little poetic, though, because Million Days, and then you feel like the song ended a little early.
Yeah. I suppose I haven't really thought about that, but that's a good assumption, or not assumption.
I don't even know what word to use, Ephraim.
View, like, a really good view of it.
And are you comfortable talking about the meanings of songs when you're writing songs? Are you writing each song from a, like, real life experience, or are you making up things to write about?
No. I every song that I've written is about something that I've experienced in my life.
So you could go through and actually almost like a photo album.
I could. Sometimes I don't like to, because some songs are a little personal, but there's, like, every song that I've released so far has had some sort of impact to my life. Like, certain parts of songs, I'll, like, add parts that just sound good, but by the end of it, most of the song, if not all of it, is about something that I've experienced that I want to write about.
And when Million Days comes out on June 5th, people can find it on Spotify. Where else is it going to be available?
It's going to be on Spotify, Apple Music, basically any streaming platform, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, some weird streaming platforms that I haven't ever heard of. I'm pretty sure they're, like, not from America, but they'll be there.
Being an artist now, do you feel like you have to also be an expert in social media to stay on top of keeping in touch with people that might find your music?
Yeah. And it's a little annoying. I don't ever touch social media.
Is there one thing that you're more active on, even though you're not really actively? Is there one?
It'd be TikTok, yeah. Because it's just so easy to post something and have at least 200 people see it. They might just scroll by, like, instantly, because they don't want to listen to that. They want to doom scroll. But it's still a little nice validating that were 200 people that actually saw the video, even if they didn't see it.
So I'm going to sound like a dinosaur, but I don't go on TikTok, so to me the whole thing's foreign. But is music pretty predominant on TikTok? Like, if you're comparing Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, is it easier to hear music on TikTok? It seems like there's lots of creators that are going to that platform.
Yeah, TikTok, it is a really great platform to kind of get heard, I suppose. Like I'm pretty sure that one artist, Jake, got really famous off TikTok, and I think Benson Boone might have too. Like, it's kind of like the algorithm really helps compared to Meta's platforms. It's just you have a better chance of getting into the algorithm on TikTok than you would on Instagram. But yeah.
Yeah, it just sounds like extra work. And he takes you away from actually working on music, and work on the image of music.
Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of doing social media in order to kind of grow my fan base, just because like I want to just like the videos that I do put up, I'm pretty much just sitting on my couch playing my song, rather than coming up with some obscure like marketing tactic that like people do nowadays to get their music out there, just because it's more entertaining for people to watch.
You've got to tell me about the show you did at the Tap Room in Appleton, because you had some mishaps happen to you on stage. Tell me about what happened and the thought process. How do you deal with it when something goes wrong during a live show?
Well, so I was opening up for my buddy Michael, or Damien, and it was very interesting. I started playing the song, and already the crowd wasn't really there for my music. But anyways, a string broke on my first song, and so it took me like way too long to restring the guitar, but I did it. And then I went back up to play my next, and then another string broke, and then the microphone stand started like coming down. And I was like, in my head I was kind of debating just going down with it till I was on the floor and finishing the song on the ground. But yeah, it was really random. But
when that's happening, do you feel like just pulling the plug and saying, "Hey, I'm done," and walking off stage, or do you just take it with a grain of salt and just kind of power through it?
I did actually end my set early, just because I wanted to get out of there before an amp blew up or something. But no, I'd like to go back and play there again, because I'm sure it's not like that most of the time.
How often do you change your strings?
Before that show, it wasn't. I don't really change them that often.
Like when one breaks, do you just change that one string, or do you change the whole set?
I changed the whole set, but in that set, in the show, I just wanted to change the one string. But yeah, and I actually had just moved on to a completely different guitar after that set. I didn't even change the strings, and that guitar was sitting for a while. Or no, that was my dad's guitar I was using for that set. Yeah. Anyways.
So I want to read something that Steve McCabe sent me as well. He said,
all right.
Ephraim sent me his mix about a month ago, and this is, of course, about the upcoming single. About a month ago, and it really turned out great. He has everything sitting just right and was able to add the exact effects he was hearing. He got really clear vision of the sonics and of the music he makes, but at the same time is open to experimentation and serendipity. I really can't wait to see where he goes next as a musician and as an artist, as he builds upon everything he already does so deftly. So, I mean, that's, again, coming from Steve, I mean, that's pretty high praise. You've got a lot of people that I respect a lot in the music community behind you, which I think speaks a lot for you as an artist and what they see in you as well.
It means a lot that they're so supportive of me. I mean, that's really nice things that Steve just said there. And I don't know. I'd like to keep going on that route. Yeah, but yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about when you were growing up again. Obviously, your parents were doing music and you saw some of the stuff that they were doing in some of the shows, but were you going out actively and checking out other events in Appleton, as far as the Appleton and Oshkosh music scene?
I didn't really go out to see shows. I think the first show I ever saw was Shaky Graves, and that was up in like Bailey's Harbor or something. But that was after seeing that show. It was in a really intimate venue, and I've been listening to his music for a couple of years by then. And after seeing that, then I was like, I wanna play. I want to do what he does. I want to go play on that stage, and I don't know, have people sit there and actually listen to my music and consume it, or not consume it, but like digest it. Like, I want people to pick apart the lyrics and stuff. I want people to just actually hear it, if that makes sense.
Do you have any recollection of any compliments that you've received after a show that have stuck in your head?
Yeah, this one lady at Gibson, she told me that I had a beautiful voice and that I shouldn't play my guitar as loud so that she can hear my voice. But yeah,
is that a compliment?
I think I took it as a compliment in the moment. But I mean, I'm not a really good guitarist. I'm kind of like cowboy chord strummer type of guitarist. I'm not really good with noodling or anything like that.
I think to kind of like back up what Steve McCabe and Ian Gilmore kind of said, your songwriting is really mature and good. Like your guitar playing doesn't have to be flashy for the songs, because the songs are just good already.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any kind of guitar like stuff that you'd like to be better at, like scales or
yeah, I would
shredding?
No, I would like to kind of learn my scales a little bit better. I've dabbled with finger picking a little bit, and I've kind of got it down. But yeah, I also want to learn like different chords other than cowboy chords, like just weird random chords that sound good, you know.
Well, I imagine St. Patrick's Day is a big event at your house.
Not really, actually. No. It used to be like we'd go down to Irish Fest and like hang out there all day. But no, St. Patrick's Day is not super like an important holiday for us.
It's not like it is at the McNamara home. So your stuff has a lot of instruments in it that you're playing predominantly yourself. Any plans to get a band to play out?
Oh man, yeah, I really want a band.
Have you taken any steps to find any players yet?
I have. It's kind of at this point, it's kind of, if it's meant to happen, it'll find me. Like, I'll find players eventually. I'm not really rushing for it right now, but I would love to have a band and people to share the stage with me, and even write with. Like, I want to be able to write with people too, and kind of have that relationship that bandmates have.
So where do you go from here when the single's released? What's the game plan?
Slaving away on Instagram and TikTok, trying to build an audience, and then I've got another single ready to go in a little bit. I'm still touching it up, but I think it's almost there. And then I'm just gonna kind of keep doing a rinse and repeat there for a little bit, probably like 6 songs out, and then try and start working on an album.
Do you feel albums are somewhat dated nowadays?
A little bit, actually, yeah. It's so much easier to push a single than it is to push an album now, especially with, like, if you're putting stuff out on DistroKid, because, like, when you put out a single, Spotify will push that single so much. And when you're pushing an album, it only pushes one song on that album. But And I feel like people just nowadays don't have the attention span to listen to albums like they used to. Now people are kind of wanting those shorter songs, those 3-minute ones.
Well, it's almost like the shelf life of an album. It's the lemon's not worth the squeeze in a way, because you get a lot more out of, and you're fresh. Like you mentioned, some of the stuff you released in the past, you want to redo it now. So it's almost like if you're releasing a single, you've got more time to focus on the next single instead of focusing on finishing 10 plus songs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I wish I would have listed the titles from the album, because I would have loved to ask you about specific songs. But Million Days is a positive song.
Yeah.
You've got some songs like To Lose You, which seems like it's the opposite direction.
Yeah, a little bit. In my mind, I still kind of imagine that as a positive song, because like the whole song was kind of more about loving somebody so much that you don't want to lose them. I'm sure it probably came off as like they're leaving and I don't want to lose you type of thing, but yeah.
And Loving You Cold to me is an interesting title for an album as well. Like what was the thought process behind that?
That one was probably the most personal out of all the songs on that album, and it just meant a lot to me. Loving You Cold, it was kind of a tribute, I suppose. So before me and my girlfriend started dating, like we met years and years ago, back like To Lose You's about her too. And then we kind of had this falling out, and then I didn't see her for 2 years, and in those 2 years I had written those songs and released them. And Loving You Cold was kind of like, I don't know, because I kept talking about how, like, I'll wait outside the walls, please don't forget about me, I'll be loving you cold. Like, I was kind of imagining, like, waiting outside a snowy castle type of thing. And that's kind of Loving You Cold.
So you could revisit some of these songs with music videos, because when you explain that, I can imagine a very costly music video that you could make to go along with that.
Yeah, and a nice trip to Ireland, hopefully.
So Ephraim, where can people go to find out more about your music? Where can they go to hear about shows you have coming up?
Instagram's probably going to be the main spot that I will post announcements, just because it's a lot easier. I do have a website, but nobody goes to it, so I think I might get rid of it.
What's the website if people want to check it out?
Well, I'm going to have to change the name now, but it's EphraimMcGillivray.com, or EphraimMcGillivrymusic.com. But
I can see the problem.
Yeah.